Hi class, here we're going to talk about different types of compounding. So you'll see on the right side of my screen, I have Google Sheets opened. Um, you can access Google Sheets two ways. You can simply Google Sheets, and it will come right up and you select personal, and if you're signed into my PCC, it will take you right to Google Sheets. Or when you're in your PCC email, you'll see a 3 by 3 grid at the top right of the screen, and you can select that and you'll see Google Sheets come down. Or you're more than welcome to use Excel. I'm just going to use Google Sheets since I know everyone has access to that software. Okay, so we have a lot of different types of compounding. We're going to work with the same example we started these notes with, which is you invest $500 at 6% interest, and I want us to calculate the balance after 5 years for each compounding interval. So for the first one is simple interest. We've already done this, but I'm going to put it on this sheet because I want this to be kind of like the catch-all sheet in your notes. So please refer to this page when you're doing your homework. So simple interest, we already discussed that I will give you this formula, but you have to know what the variables stand for. And when you're using Google Sheets or Excel, you have to start with an equal sign. Always, always, always. And the formula said P plus P times R times T. So for this problem, it would be 500 plus 500 times is like an asterisk in the spreadsheet world. My R is 0.06, be careful of that, and I'm going to multiply it by 5 times. So when I go to my Google Sheets, you'll see in the bottom it says enter text or formula. Yours might be a little different if you're working on a laptop and not a tablet, but just look around and you'll see what you can enter. So it looks like I put an equal sign. I'm going to do 500 plus the 500. There's that asterisk, which is a multiplication. 0.06 times 5. And it's not going to give me a value until I enter or return or get out of that cell. And you'll see, oh, it gave us $650. So I'm going to go back to my notes and write down that value. So for simple interest, you're going to be given the formula and you just have to put it in just like how you learned it. Now for the other ones, there is a program programmed inside of Google Sheets for us to figure it out. So compound yearly. Yearly means our NPR is 1. Number of payments, number of periods, I should say, actually. So when we're compounding, we're always doing it within a year. So if we're doing it yearly, it's only going to happen once a year. All right? Now, the next question we have to ask ourselves, we have 2 functions we've learned so far, which is FV for future value versus PV, which is present value. Now remember, future value we use if we're trying to figure out our future balance. PV we use if we're trying to figure out what we should deposit each period to end up with a certain amount. So for this problem, we're looking for what our end balance will be in 5 years. So that's why we have to use future value. So when you go to Google Sheets, I'm going to enter my text and I put equals. Now you always have to decide between FV and PV. I decided it's FV for this problem. So I'm going to type F. And you'll see it will prompt you with a list of functions, which is so rad. So there's that FV function, so I'm going to select it. And this is the also most amazing thing, is it prompts you with what inputs to put in. So I'm never going to give you this formula since, Excel and Google Sheets actually prompt you with everything. You just have to know what those inputs mean. And that's why we took those notes in the previous video. So for my rate, I'm going to go back to my notes real quick and then I'll go back over there. I'm going to get out of here. Okay, so my first input is my rate, which is 0.06. Now, on the previous video, it said that's per number of periods, or is that how I phrase it? I want to make sure. Yep, number per periods. Now, we're only doing it once. So dividing by 1 seems silly because it will give me the same return, but I'm going to get us in the habit, so I'm going to put the 1 there. Because if we're compounding not yearly, and say quarterly, like the next one, I'll be dividing by something different. Okay, so then it says my next, and I'm just referring to, I'm going to go up actually. If I go right here, my next input, which, Google Sheets will prompt me, is number of periods. Okay, well, it's going to be, I'm doing it once a year, and I'm doing it for 5 years. Okay, the next input it prompts me with is PMT, which I'm going to go back here actually and start putting things in. So let's go here, and I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to go 0.06. We decided it's divided by 1, which is unnecessary, but getting you into good habits. It's 1 times the 5, and then our next hint is payment amount. So remember, if we go back to the sheet prior, this is amount of regular payments, if any. So this is really, really, really key. Ask yourselves, do you deposit $500 every year, or do you just deposit it once and just let it grow? And it looks like, based off this problem, we only invest $500, right? And then we walk away and we want to know how much we made after 5 years. So the fact that I'm not making any payments, this is really important, it will be 0. Okay, so I go back here and I'm going to write 0. Okay, now the next thing it prompts me with, so I'm going to put a comma because that always separates our inputs, is our present value. So for us, remember, going back to the previous sheet, we defined that as initial deposit, or the value right now. Well, our initial deposit was $500. And then I comma. All right, well, the next input is end or beginning. Remember, we're not using that in this class. You go on in accounting, you'll use it, but not for us. So I'm just actually going to get rid of that and put a parenthesis. But let me just put in my notes that I have 500, and I close the parenthesis. I'm going to close it, and I'm going to push enter. And you'll see it gives me negative $669.11, which that's pretty great because in our first example, when we did compounding interest, that's the value we got, correct? We didn't get a negative. So just realize that's just saying how much money you would be out, because if I want to be technical, this should have been a negative 500 because that came out of my pocket, right? So that's why it's a negative. And if I push enter, let me get out of here. You'll see that it returned a positive value. Don't get so caught up in that. You can just always know that it's saying it's a positive value. So this is $669.11. Okay? All right. So, compound quarterly. Okay. Quarterly, well, that's telling me my number of periods is 4. So again, I'm looking for what's in the future. So it's going to be FV, parenthesis, my rate, divided by number of periods. So this time it's 4. Now the next one prompts me with my NPR. So that's the number of payments or compounding that will happen. So we do it 4 times every year, and we do it for 5 years. Now again, same deal as before. This is going to be 0 because I only invest it once. And then my initial deposit was 500. Okay, going back to Google Sheets, equals F, it will prompt me with my functions. I'm going to choose FV, and I'm going to do 0.06, divide that by 4, comma. Well, now it's going to be 4 times 5, comma. My next thing is my payment amount, 0, right? Because I don't make monthly payments or anything. And then present value, I just invest 500 once and I walk away. And then I don't use the last piece. So then I'm going to push enter to see what I get. So I'm going to have to get out of here real quick. And again, you can put in -500 if you like. If you don't like it outputting negatives, but they will not affect your answer. Just realize that's just saying your account will have $673.43. Okay, so 673.43. So what I would like you to do is to see if you can do up to daily on your own, okay? Before I throw it on your own, let's decide monthly, my NPR. Well, how many months are there in a year? 12. Weekly, my NPR. Well, how many weeks are in a year? 52. And daily, I know we could fight this and say, no, there's leap years. We're always going to assume it's 365. So go ahead and try this on your own. And in the next video, I will have all the answers listed for you. Okay.